5 years ago when social media is quite new in
Yeah.
Cebu, my role was actually to educate these businesses to
Oh.
understand what social media
Give them
is.
like awareness.
Oh, so
Yeah.
they
Was
don't
it
know.
hard that time?
It was super hard because I mean it would end up na, for example, there's this business, they're interested about social media. I spend a lot of time going to their office, traveling, teaching them what social media can do for you, what we can do for you as a social media agency, and then telling them, sige, this is how we can help you, this is how we can get started, and then having that or doing that kind of, I would say, educational advocacy work
Yeah.
is something that I'm proud of that we did also as 30 Media.
How I'm inspired.
in Australia.
We are a community who support and help each other.
Hey, I'm Martin. This is Entrepreneur Beach Club Philippines, a community of entrepreneurs, business owners, startups, aspiring entrepreneurs, freelancers, and digital nomads, where we help connect, inspire, influence, guide, collaborate, motivate, learn, and at the same time, have fun with fellow like-minded people and build meaningful relationships. Welcome to our show. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing for more videos like this. In this episode, we're going to talk about building a great community engagement through digital marketing, together with our guest, a digital maestra, Miss Fleire Castro, co-founder of Bloodlife.ph, business owner of 13 Media, just to name a few. Enjoy the show.
Before I started 13 Media, I was actually, maybe I can start with how I got into the industry.
Yes, sing it.
And it's because I guess I should start when I graduated. So I was a graduate of BS Information Technology. So
Here in Cebu?
No, I'm actually from Mindanao, from Iligan City. So I graduated Information Technology from MSU-IIT. And if you are in that course, you are actually expected to become a programmer after.
Okay.
So that's the kind of jobs that I eventually got into. So I was a programmer at the local city hall in Iligan City. That's my first job. And then I was a freelance developer for several companies after that. And then I became a survey programmer and software developer here in Lapu-Lapu. So that's when I transferred from Iligan City to Cebu, and I got my job as a software developer in, it was called before Western Watts. So how I got into the industry was because I was fired from my survey programming and developer job.
Yeah.
And not really like fired, it's like parang you're forced to resign, I guess. So when that happened to me, I was thinking, when you are in a traditional job, you would think that potential recruiters would look at your resume and then say, hey, what happened? Why did you
Why you get fired?
something like that. So I was like, maybe that will be the reason I won't get hired in the future or something like that. So before I look for a job, my sister Faith, who is in London right now, she was then a nurse who got into online freelancing through Odesk. It was called Odesk before. Right now it's Upwork, diba? So she got into Odesk and had all these writing jobs. She went into VA work, blog writing, article writing. She was busy with that kind of work before I got into Odesk. And she was the one who told me, Ate, maybe you want to try online writing.
Yes.
So that got me curious with the platform Odesk itself. But I didn't immediately go into it. I was like, maybe I have other options or maybe I can try something else. But it was my friend, another friend who's also into Odesk. She gave me my first client, and it was, I think it was forum writing.
Forum writing?
Yeah, like forum comment writing. And it was forum comment writing and article writing for one client. And it was so cute kasi one article was around like $2 back then. That was 2000, I think 2000
Oh, that's
Oh.
very long na.
So that was
So
such
what's
a long time
forum
ago.
writing, Miss?
From
Is it
it's
the
like
same?
when you
From-
write comments
Yeah.
in forum, like there's a certain topic and then you add your comment and then you try to
Ah,
plug in the
yeah,
company
yeah. Okay.
products or services.
So just
So, ayun, that was like parang when I look back at it, parang ano siya, it's like a black hat strategy where you
Yeah.
plug in but it's
You
not really
just,
black hat. It's like a legit thing, although you are paid to do
yeah.
that. You know, but
That's
generally
nice.
that was the start. That was the time that got me curious into why are all of these people who are supposed to be like my sister. She was supposed to be a nurse, but they got gigs.
Oh, so your
Like
sister
writing.
was a
Yes,
nurse
she
in the-
graduated she graduated nursing.
Yeah.
Ayun. And then she got into Odesk as her sideline. Yung parang sideline lang. And then when she invited me into that, I wasn't really curious, but because of my friend who prodded
Yeah.
me, who gave me the first client, I got interested with the whole freelancing thing. So that's when I became serious with making sure that my profile on Odesk was actually marketable to potential clients. So aside from writing, I did not just forum writing, parang article writing, and the reason why I got into the writing part itself was because back in college I really loved to write. Like I even remember the time when I invited my college classmates into a blog. It was Blogspot before. I tried to invite them, and out of the 10 people I guess that I invited, only one accepted and wrote the blog with me. So parang
That's
I
really
have
cool.
that passion with writing and also social media itself, because if you could remember, there was Friendster, there was MySpace, there was also this social media called everythingconnected.com. So I remember going into these forums kasi parang it became natural for me to really be curious about online communities in general and writing.
Because
So
like before, the online community is just like kanang smaller.
yes,
and
just
then-
like meron ka lang forums or like small mailing group. So that was what it looked like before. And then Friendster came, diba? So everyone was like online trying to view people's profiles and write testimonials and all that. But aside from that, the blogging community, we actually had a community. I could remember we had a community before. We were in Blogspot. All of us were in Blogspot, and then we would do blog hopping, wherein we read the recent posts of a person, and then we actually comment.
Just
Like
comment,
it was, yes, it was super organic before, because right now, diba, when you do blog hopping and blog posts, it's like you have to plug it into several groups and then like really, tell your friends, like, hey, can you please comment? But for us, it was natural that you always check on your friends' blog and then try to read it and then really add
like a real community.
it was a real community. It was really fun before, and then sometimes we would even write articles that mention another person's posts and all that. But yeah, it was a super close-knit community of bloggers when I started with Blogspot.
I'm curious, Miss, what was your like niche when you were blogging with your friends?
Yeah, before, for me, blogs were really like diaries. Just
okay.
diaries before. That's why it was
Yeah.
super intimate when you go to someone's blog and you read about their life. And also, the same with mine. I wrote about, it was really like, just like a diary.
Is it still searchable? Your blog?
Actually, that's a good question. Kasi I imported all my entries into my current blog at fleirecastro.com. And then,
You can still
I
read it?
hid everything.
Oh, no, guys.
I
You
hid
can't.
everything kasi it was super like
Cringy.
really cringy and like, oh my god, I wrote all of these. It was so,
That was
it's
like
super
high school
cringe,
or college?
I was in
times?
college. I was in
oh.
college. So
So
like
college-
all my
college
entries were like
experience,
poems and like rants and then
Rants from
talk about
parents?
the game. No, it was like talk about
Something.
other people, or
Yeah.
the ranting about other people, or you're ranting
from the
about work.
bullies
And in fact, that was the reason why I was forced to resign, because I wrote about work.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I was writing
So,
about
yeah.
like this tool that we were using. I was like, oh, this is the tool that we use at work. And then work saw that post.
Oh, no.
And then they confronted me and then like forced me to, because it was like proprietary and all that.
But
And
because
this
of
was
that
the
blog,
time,
yeah.
yes, and this was the time when blogging is not used to promote products and
Yeah.
services, because if that scenario happened now, it would be something na you would make that employee perhaps an ambassador of your company because
Yeah,
they were
sure.
talking about you, you know.
Yeah.
But back then, anything that you do or write online comes back to bite you, you know. So yeah. Anyway, that was so in the past. But generally, that's what I mentioned. No, I was really into writing. I was into online communities, and that's what prompted me to really be curious about how digital marketing works.
Yeah.
It wasn't called digital marketing before. There were specific names like search engine optimization. There was blog writing. There was affiliate marketing, and
Different
one of
terms.
the things that came up back then in 2008, 2010 was social media marketing. And for me, when I started, SEO was already a big thing. So I said, I told myself, if I were to offer services like SEO, I would be late in the game,
Okay.
you know. So people were already offering these kinds of services, and I said, maybe I should do something else so that I will be brand new, or
Yeah.
parang I'll be a trailblazer in the field. So social media came up, and not a lot of people are offering services for social media. So that's where I got curious. How about I told myself, how about I offer social media marketing or social media management services? So ayun, I think it was supposed to be natural for me to go into programming,
Yeah.
which in fact I actually did. On my first few projects, I did a mix of programming and then writing. But then
Okay.
eventually I
Yeah.
formed my first digital team around the fact that we can do writing services, not
Not to-
development
Yeah,
or
yeah.
not programming. So, but for me, I was also really curious about the whole online space. So, using tools like WordPress and all the other CMS, I also got into that. That's why I transferred my blog from Blogspot. I created my own personally branded website, the FleireCastro.com. I was the
Yeah.
one who built that from scratch, like the
Oh,
domain, the
yeah.
hosting, the WordPress, everything. I set
Also
up
the design?
everything. Yeah, the design. I mean, you can get themes naman online back then.
Yeah.
Pwede
Oh.
rin naman, oo. So, ayun. So, but I geared away from the programming part and got into the writing. So, I guess that's where I got curious with writing itself and social media. So, ayun. Um, I got I was managing several accounts. I would say
Yeah.
accounts back then because like I have a client, mostly the clients I got from Odessa were from the US.
Oh, so it was
Oo.
international.
Yes,
Yeah.
international clients. So I had a programming client, but they also made me answer tickets for customer service.
Yeah.
It was funny. So you're like a VA
Yeah.
back then, and then
So, but you still took that.
yeah. I
job,
mean,
yeah.
I was open to any other jobs that's available online. So
Yeah.
I did the VA thing / programming.
You were hungry that time.
Yes, I was hungry for knowledge and for
Yeah.
income. Why not?
Yeah.
Diba? You know, at the end of the day, it's always going to be like how much you're going to earn. You know, like
Yeah.
you're passionate about something, but it has to be compensated. Kumbaga,
that's true.
ganun. So yeah, I was definitely hungry for knowledge and to understand the whole scene
Digital,
of
yeah.
digital marketing. And so yeah, I got that client, and then I have another one where they had me do data entry, and then I had another one who had me do online writing. And I tried to like integrate all my skills and said na maybe I can offer something specific. So that's when I got into managing social media profiles. And then
That's pretty cool.
I have my client before. He was from New York, and then he has a talent from Hong Kong, the youngest guitarist. So I
Oh,
handled
yeah.
his online profile, and I feel like that was the first that I handled na related to social media.
Okay.
And actually,
Yeah.
this client right now, he's still giving me leads. Like
Oh,
he's
that's
giving me
yeah.
referrals
That's
and
really
leads
cool.
and all
Yeah.
that. It's really good. But I think that was the first time that I handled an account talaga. Like offer offer Facebook, Twitter, and then ano pa yun? Yeah, mostly Facebook and Twitter management. And then from that portfolio, I started growing other profiles. I handled a fleet of cars. They had their own brand that was also in New Jersey. So I handled that. And then the accounts I handled actually grew. And these were mostly from the US. So then I said to myself na maybe this is parang good business to go into na i-offer.
But you were still doing that on your own.
Yeah, I was just doing it by
freelance,
myself. So ayun nga, when I was doing that and then also doing the side projects
Side
of
hustle,
VA and writing and mix of other things, I was trying to grow like a consistent pool of services that I can offer. So ayun, after that, I started branding myself. I said maybe I can grow this into an actual business na i-offer and then try to hire other people to actually do what I'm doing. So it was funny because I started with trying to name the business that I'm doing. I forgot the names that I came up with. I think it was like.
But what was like the worst one?
Yeah,
or the most memorable?
maybe it's not in my mind anymore because I tried to forget all the cringy names that I came up with. But anyway, I came up with 30 Media because I read a book from Seth Godin, and then he said that in the workplace there's 3 teams. So in the workplace there are 2 teams. The first one is the management, and the second one are your employees. But there's actually the third team, which is the linchpins of your organization, and these are the people who will connect your first team and your second team, and they are the ones na innovative. They have this entrepreneurial mindset. And I angled 30 Media using that.
What's this book?
It's actually called it's not here. Linchpin.
Linchpin.
Yeah, Seth Godin's Linchpin. So that was the basis for using Third Team Media as the brand for what I am doing, which is
really
social
cool,
media.
It has a great meaning, deep meaning.
Yes, that was actually the reason why it chose Third Team Media as the name. So anyway, like I said, I forgot the other names that I came up with. It was super
That's okay.
crazy. Anyway,
I think it's in the blogs, the hidden blogs.
Andun na nakahide, don't worry. So, ayun, 30 Media, I came up with that, but it's basically just me. So 30 Media is me. I mean, up until now, 30 Media is just me. But so ayun, I was offering social media management services. I tried improving my profile on Odesk, and then deliberately saying that I offer social media management. I offer social media services. Ayun. So because of focusing myself on that, I got a lot of inquiries, a lot of leads. So it's really the tip there is to focus. Kumbaga, like if you're offering video,
just one
creation,
one service is focus.
So kasi if you offer almost everything, like the potential leads or the clients would be confused, like what's really your strength? You know, they would ask that. So I was focusing really social media, yun lang talaga. And from there, I started growing the digital team. So I started hiring people, and then so ayun nga, I started hiring people. We grew as a digital team. Everyone was working online. Everyone was working from home. I even remembered employing someone from Pakistan. She's actually based right now like in Australia, but before she was in Pakistan. So
that's really
ayun
cool.
nga, like
Are you still
Filipinos, Pakistan,
in
Pakistani.
communication or with Pakistan?
Yeah, they were actually still in Odesk. Kasi in Odesk, you can create an agency. So that's how I created the 30 Media agency. It was on Odesk, which is right now
really
Upwork.
Cool. Yeah.
And then you can hire people and then have them work on the project where you're working on. So that was basically our setup until I got off Odesk and then used tools outside of Odesk to hire the digital team. So we started in Odesk and then brought it outside of Odesk, and then I started getting clients not just from Odesk but also like outside. I got referral businesses. I got from the clients that I managed before, so I got referrals. So ayun, we were still digital team but we're now outside Odesk. Mostly from the US, Singapore. Ayun yung mga clients before, they were from those places. And then the thing is, I started getting local inquiries when I became active with the community in Cebu. Kasi I
Okay.
was into startups, I was into entrepreneurship. I even created I even was the founder of the Google Business Group in Cebu.
Oh.
Oo. So I was
Is it still
really,
there?
yeah, it's still active right now. Actually,
Wow.
there's a different community manager though. Like I'm not sure. Like every few years they change up the managers. But I was the founder of Google Business Group in Cebu. If you've heard of Google Developers Group,
Yeah.
meron ding Google Business
Business.
Group. I was the
Oh.
founder of the Google Business Group here in Cebu. Like I actually talked to Eileen from Google and then told her on one startup weekend I approached her and told her, Eileen, is it okay if I create a Google Business Group in Cebu? And she was like, go for it. So I
Yeah.
did, I managed the community, and at that time, like until now, you do volunteer work for this
Yeah.
group. So that was what I'm doing in terms of like community engagement and what do you call that, in order to build my profile
That's
as
true, yeah.
not just as a freelancer but as a digital marketing professional, because I was aligning myself with the digital marketing field. So that's how I got into the local community. Then we got local clients, ayun, and then maybe we can go to your next question. Why
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
so passionate
Yeah.
about.
Why
So
so
that's how I
passionate, yeah.
started with digital marketing. So I'm really passionate about this field because as a programmer, there's only so much that you can talk to when you look at code.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
that's
So when you
true.
code, parang you're looking at all these lines of codes. You have to
Numbers and
numbers and letters and mixed up and all that.
spaces and
So you can
Yeah,
only
that's
do
true.
so much with looking at that. And I feel like even if I'm an introvert, I have that parang desire to go out and meet
meet people in the
you know,
community.
and then,
Yeah.
and then
Engage.
and then it's not like I want to go out and meet people. It's like I want to go in forums and
Yeah.
in online communities and talk to people. It's still behind. You're still behind the
Yeah.
screen, diba? But
Yeah,
you're
that's
going
true.
out there and then you're talking about
Same
topics
interest,
that you're
yeah.
passionate with. Yeah, your hobbies and all that, or any other topic. So it's like digital marketing comes into that passion because you're using tools. You're using tools like Facebook or Friendster or MySpace and all these new communities that you can go into, like Twitter or Instagram, and all these tools really bring out what you call that, the pop culture of a certain country or
Yeah.
certain what you call that, anong tawag yung mga millennials kanyan, or the
I'm not sure.
generation,
Yeah,
diba?
the
So like,
Generation Z.
what is this generation passionate
Yeah.
about? Like, what are the millennials passionate about? What
Yeah.
topics are they passionate about? So it boils down to my passion for pop culture.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
what's
what's
going
the
on?
trend?
What's
What's the
the trend?
trend?
What's
Yeah.
going on? So I feel like going into that or understanding that brings you digital marketing, because it's not just these topics, but also businesses who want to know where these people are who are passionate about certain topics
Yeah.
or certain hobbies. Where do they stay? Where do they talk about these things so that I can push my products
Yeah.
and services?
Yeah, that's
So, ayun, that's where digital marketing comes in, because they want to know where these people are. And here I am, passionate about learning where these people are actually talking about these things. So, ayun, I think that's where like na-merge yung
passionate.
yes,
Yeah.
for digital marketing.
So,
Ayun.
what are the biggest achievements of the 30 Media Business Solutions?
Oh, again, just call it 30 Media
Ah,
actually.
okay. It's just short. Yeah.
Oh, there's the short one. But anyway, I would say that the biggest achievements that we have is, since we started as a digital team, I didn't really intend for the business to grow, because I'm only taking in clients that I feel like I can help. Like I
okay.
can be.
Oh, how long has been the third team has
Yes,
been running?
I built my career in freelancing 2008. I registered 30 Media 2010. So we're
Oh,
actually on our ninth
ninth.
year.
That's
But
really cool,
within that 9 years, there was a lot of changes. Like I said, we started, I was starting doing it solo.
Yeah.
And then we started growing to digital team. 2014, we got the office. Ayun. And then all of these things, I'm really, what you call that, I'm not really like having a timeline to, kasi iba, when you say entrepreneurship, diba, like they have this sort of timeline, like you grow, and then you
Yeah.
become a bigger. But for me, I still feel like it's still going to be a boutique agency for me.
Oh.
You know, like I only want to work on projects that I'm really passionate about. Like if I don't care about your products or services, like it's hard for me to take on your project because
Yeah,
I don't
that's
have
true,
the
yeah.
passion for it, you know? So how can I help you? So ayun, like up until now, that's still my mentality when I take on project. It has to be something that I am personally interested and proud to say that I am part of. So when you say biggest achievements of 3D Media, I would say taking on local clients that have big names. When I say
Mm.
big names, it's organizations like the Mactan Cebu
Yeah.
Airport, International Airport, and then we'd had clients like Mega World, like Aboitisland, and then these are names that you would say should be handled by like bigger teams or bigger agencies,
Yeah.
but they actually worked with us because
That's
they
really
know
cool,
that
yeah.
you know, being the forerunner in social media, because no one else was branding themselves as a social media agency. And I would say right now, and looking back at it, you shouldn't, because focusing on social media as just a part of the whole digital marketing,
Because
you should
I
be
think
a digital agency.
I
just
think
that.
digital is like
Yes.
really broad.
It's really broad. I mean, you can offer a lot when you say digital media, but
Yeah.
here we are, a small team, branding ourselves as
With
social media agency. It's
Yeah.
very niche. It's very specific.
Yeah.
Oo. So now, back, like I would say, 5 years ago when social media is quite new in
Yeah.
Cebu, my role was actually to educate these businesses to understand what social media
Give them
is.
like awareness.
Oo,
Yeah.
so they don't
Was it
know.
hard that time?
It was super hard because I mean it would end up na, for example, there's this business, they're interested about social media. I spend a lot of time going to their office, traveling, teaching them what social media can do for you, what we can do for you as a social media agency. And then telling them, sige, this is how we can help you, this is how we can get started. And then having that or doing that kind of, I would say, educational advocacy work
Yeah.
is something that I'm proud of that we did also as 3D Media.
That's
These businesses didn't know about social media digital
few years
marketing.
ago, yeah.
I was there. I was in talks. I was a speaker. I was a community manager. I went in there as their agency partner. So all of these roles I had to take in order for the community to understand what social media is, what digital marketing is, and it's a huge role. And I didn't necessarily got paid for it. You know, I was like a volunteer community person. And actually it's not like I didn't gain anything out of it. I improved my public speaking skills. I was able to brand myself as a digital marketing professional. I was able to position myself in the industry, and all of these things helped 13. But it's really, right now I would say it's really hard to do that same thing because these businesses also grow. They already understand what social media is. They already understand digital marketing. So now, I would say we're done with our role, as a parang teacher of the community. So now,
Awareness,
you have to move to like a different
Different,
level, different and on. So, but that's one thing that I'm really proud of 13. Like, I'm proud to say that we are the forerunners of social media, not just in Cebu, but I would say like Visayas, Mindanao in general. So ayun. Yep.
So do you like highly advise aspiring entrepreneurs to, choose your clients that you're passionate about helping, or just choose?
Yeah, especially if you are a small team and then you
Yeah.
can only handle so much. Of course, you have to choose. You have to manage your time well. You have to manage your resources well, because you can't do everything, and you can't expect to to expand your capacity immediately, diba? Because what would happen, for example, you want to expand your video marketing services, and then suddenly the client would expect you to have 10-man team or something like that. It's hard for you, diba? Like you have to do recruitment, you have to make sure that the quality of work is at par with what you envision.
You have
the
to
work
like
would
finish
be.
on time.
Yes, and then you have to manage, like instead of doing the work, you now have to manage people. That's a different ball game. I mean, that requires a different set of skills. Like here I am, I prefer to be writing, I prefer to be talking to people
in front of the.
but now I'm forced to
laptop,
like manage people, do recruitment. It's different. It requires different skills, like I said. So ayun, I guess that's for entrepreneurs. I would say if you were looking for like tips, perhaps in like growing your team or like growing your clients, I would say take on what you can, and for other things that you can't handle yourself, find someone else who's better than you. But for me, I do meet a lot of entrepreneurs who prefer to do things by themselves. Like I always talk to people online, and then they would say, "Oh, you know what? I'm doing this by myself and doing this solo," and it's actually not something new. Because not everyone really wants to grow what they're doing. They're just doing this because, they're passionate about it, or like it's something. Even if they tease you or they call this like, it's just a hobby business, and who cares? I'm having fun.
That's true. I'm enjoying the business.
Don't force me to grow the business. I'm having fun. I'm doing this for myself. Why not, diba? So ayun, I mean, do what you can depending on your goal. If you're envisioning a bigger business, like really growing it, of course you have to do different steps than someone who just wants to do this because they're passionate about what they're doing and they can do this by themselves. So like try to see muna what direction. Of course, it all starts with your why. That's what they said. Start with your why. And then from there, build up the steps. Because going to a bigger direction versus a smaller one, it's really different. So determine first ano yung why mo.
So how do you manage to build an astounding community engagement using digital marketing?
So when you say community engagement, I wouldn't say the online community. Although with online communities, I'm part of the admins for Startup PH, but I would say I'm not really active with that because there's a whole lot of other admins, and then they have this whole lot of other opinions, and then sometimes I just end up like
Startup PH?
Yeah.
In the Facebook?
Huge community.
In the Facebook?
Yes.
It's a huge community, and a lot of people are like selling their
I know,
products.
right? It has to be managed well.
I think I was there because I was I was expecting to gain more knowledge, some ideas, some tips, but when I saw it was just more
people
of
are selling for
some event posters,
I understand. But before that happened, it was actually a very tight-knit online community of startup entrepreneurs, like really into tech. So when the admins like us stopped really policing the community, that's when all of those other people started posting unnecessary posts that are not related to tech startups. So that's the thing now, because we have that certain issue of who will police this, who's gonna manage it, and all that. People are giving in their ideas. I mean, admins gave their ideas on how to improve, but until now I would say there's no leadership because everyone else is busy with their projects.
I think the before, when you were just starting, all those what do you call this, admins were still on the startup, so they have the like time to manage the group, but right now I think they're like really growing and don't have time for,
or like they're busy with their own startups, or they're looking for jobs, or they have other things to do already. It wasn't the same as last time when those who are in the community are either startup founders or community builders. And that was like me. I was under the community part because I was founder of the Google Business Group. So that's probably the reason why as an admin of the Startup PH. But now, the original admins are now like, they have their own jobs.
They're busy
part of bigger companies. And they're now busy. So no one is really doing the leadership part on where to gear the community towards. But that's the online part. When you say community engagement and then using digital marketing, using digital marketing, you need to
it's okay, we have the audio.
All right, so if you would say digital marketing online and then for clients, I would say use your KPIs and look at your KPIs on where you can engage your community, because right now the best way, I guess, to do this is through start with influencers, see what they're passionate about, and then possibly and potentially these will also be the same people that you want to reach out, who are willing to give their money to buy your products and services. So try to differentiate that also, because when you try to engage with influencers, they're not necessarily the people who will buy your stuff.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like they just have a whole what you call that, audience that can be your potential customers, but it's not the influencers themselves. That's what I would say. So
Yeah.
managing, building an outstanding online community, engagement using digital, know your audience well. That's what I would say. Yep.
So, what can you like last piece of advice to aspiring entrepreneurs who wants to be in digital marketing?
Oh, that's
and yeah.
that's quite interesting. Kasi, just recently, I received a message on LinkedIn, and she said that she was interested in digital marketing, and she reached out to me for mentorship.
Mm.
Oo. So
Yeah.
sabi niya, hey, I'm seeing your
Profile.
successes,
Oh, yeah.
your profile, and I want you to mentor me.
That's
Something
really
like
cool.
that.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like, hey, don't you know that I'm just good at branding?
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean that I can teach you or something like that. But anyway, what I would say is like this. For if I could add, third team, we want to go back to our roots of being digital right now, because of course millennials,
Yeah.
we're all mostly online. We all
Yeah.
prefer working from home,
That's
and
true.
then this whole host of new kind of online workers, you have to adjust to what they want. That's one. And then the second thing that we are building on for third team is that we partnered with a developer, and we're creating a dashboard right now that can handle social media content management.
Mm.
Oo. Kasi before, of course, you use tools such as Hootsuite or Sprout Social and all these.
Yeah.
But we prefer to look at the process or production process and see kung saan kami maka-add ng value sa platform. That's why we
Okay.
created the platform called Content Dash.
Content Dash.
Yes. And
Is
then,
it already officially out?
not yet,
Not yet.
but
On the
we're
process.
looking for agencies and companies who can test the product and then see where we can improve. So maybe later
Okay,
on
alright.
you might want to check it out.
Yes, for
Content
sure.
Dash. So that's the second one.
Is it Dash DAS?
Content and then DASH.
Ah,
So Content
yeah.
Dash. So it's at
Like-
content-dash.app. So that's the second thing that we're building on or working on, I'd say. And then the third one, I want to say that for this month of March, and I'm not sure when you're going to publish, but
Yeah.
for March, I would say, mentoring several businesses in line with Women's Month. So
Mm.
I have 2 businesses that I'm working with and mentoring them, and then trying to help them from their startup phase so that they can grow their business. And these are women. And then the third one, I'm still thinking of taking on that person who messaged me on LinkedIn saying that she wants
to be
to be mentored by me as a digital marketer. And probably the one thing that I would say to her, the final tip that I would say to her, to anyone else who wants to go into digital marketing, is that this is a very dynamic industry. You have to continually refresh and to renew your skills. You have to continually update what you are good at, because first thing, you might be good at content, but right now what they want are conversions. So
Oh,
somewhere in
yeah.
between, you have to really change up your skills
Diversify.
and improve and diversify. So that's what I would say. Digital marketing, again, it's a very dynamic field, so continually improve yourself.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Fleire, for joining
You're
us
welcome.
and
Thank you.
sharing your expertise on digital marketing. And to all the aspiring entrepreneurs and business owners, I hope you have learned a lot today, and we're hoping to hear from you. Please do let us know what you have in mind. We are more than happy to do a podcast session with your suggested topic. Comment down below or follow us on our socials. It's Entrepreneur Beach Club PH TV on YouTube and Entrepreneur Beach Club PH on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And of course, don't forget to follow Miss Fleire. Where can we find you?
Yes, you can search for me on Facebook and all the other social media accounts, Fleire, Castro, or Third T Media. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you so much, Miss Fleire, for having us. That's it for
You're
today,
welcome.
guys. Spread the productivity and see you on the next podcast. Thank you.
Bye.